Hello and welcome back to week number 6 of ZA Draft League. Today we are going up against Siren and Aboba, her team here. So this is the #1 overall pick Glaceon team with the powerful Tyranitar, as well as, we've got like Machamp. You can kind of see as the weeks have gone on, you can continually see what Pokemon are more likely to be brought out, like this Mawile here, Noivern. Haven't seen any Raichu, Audino, Pinsir. I've seen the Blastoise a little bit. Honestly, surprised that there hasn't been more Delphox, but I think the key three are this Glaceon, Tyranitar, and Machamp, obviously. So if you look at my team, this Siren's team is literally the entire reason that I picked up Pangoro. I knew that a fighting type would be very, very strong into her team, and so we picked up Pangoro. Obviously, it's got that 4 times weakness to Fairy, which is why I think Skarmory is actually going to be so good this week. And I'll be quick here because I do need to get into this fairly quickly. So here are the sets. Once again, I'm not bringing Umbreon. I'm having Aromatisse fill this role. I like the Flash Cannon here. Rocky Helmet I don't think is going to get a ton of value, but I can put pressure on Tyranitar. I resist both of its I don't resist rock, but resist dark. Have all this defensive investment here, so I think pretty good into that, and then also good into the Machamp that she's used a lot. Obviously, Pangoro, what else needs to be said? I did drop Thunder Punch because electric coverage is not great, and then I just opted for the much more powerful close combat. This is actually where I made the most changes, was on this Tyrantrum set. I actually want to use this to beat the Glaceon, because I think that if Tyrantrum is out, the Glaceon... Hello! So, you're probably wondering why I'm here. This is post-production Braden here. For whatever reason, my recording lost all of its audio after the last 3 minutes of the recording. I don't know why. That's never happened to me with OBS before. Very strange. I have no idea why that happened, but I guess I'm just going to have to do this I decided instead of just having nothing with no commentary play out for the entirety of both matches, which is super unfortunate, I will just do post commentary here. So here we are, still going over the sets. I was explaining that I think Chandelure is still very good. There's not a whole lot that can, I don't know if I necessarily need to reiterate it. Then I just talked about how it's finally going to be another Skarmory week. I feel like Mawile is so bad into Skarmory, and Skarmory, hits Machamp for super effective damage. There was a lot that Skarmory had going for it this week for the first time in a long time, which is kind of crazy to say about my first overall pick. And then I just briefly mentioned the Clawitzer set, with a couple of changes here, a couple of tweaks. Focus Blast, obvious reasons. Flash Cannon, obvious reasons. I think I mentioned that Glaceon does have Freeze Dry. So then we popped the expert belt on there, and then went over and got into call with Siren, and then we started the match. So this was game 1. I was pretty confident it was going to be Glaceon lead, so I was like, okay, you know what? We'll just throw out the Aromatisse. It worked pretty well last week. It feels like an Umbreon should have done well here, but because of the Fairy type, I was like. And the Machamp, I was like, you know what? Let's have Aromatisse ball here. So Aromatisse did in fact get to ball. I get both screens up, then obviously the Machamp comes in wanting to Brick Break here. This is Assault Vest. This is Assault Vest Machamp here. So obviously, all of a sudden, Rocky Helmet Aromatisse getting insane value. We get the Rocky Helmet chip on the Brick Break. Honestly, if I'd been another move, we might have been able to do a little bit more here. Siren with a good switch out. I'm able to get one more screen up and then switch out right before the Iron Head comes out. And then we get the first red screw as Skarmory comes in, and I decide to just pop a plus boosted Drill Run. I cannot believe the Delphox lived that, but I'm guessing the Delphox is probably 252 HP. Which weirdly all of Siren's Pokemon were not for some reason. I kind of always just assume that everybody's going to have 252 HP, but when I was watching through Siren's old VODs, she did have some Pokemon who were not 252 HP. This, I just dodged the I don't know what happened here. I have no idea. Let's see. Is this like a protect or something? I guess we don't have the attack screw. Yeah, because it gets there. The attack screw is no longer there. So that's just the power. And now, you know, can't switch out. And then we get another red screw. This time we're getting the red screw with Mega Skarmory. So obviously I'm just going to play around this. Just wait to grab it. Then I do. And immediately fire off a Sand Tomb. Now this Tyranitar is locked in with me. And then I can just drill run. GG's. That thing is gone. And then another red screw spawns. Mega Skarmory already has just disgusting amount of attack power. So when you can just constantly keep that doubled, it's a little bit unfair. So this was just unfortunate for Siren, honestly. And I'm just chilling. I have no intention of picking that thing up until I absolutely have to. And then it's like, just hold on. We got to get the live reaction here. Let me do this. You guys need to see my actual reaction to this one. It's like, well, that's yep. That's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, then I've got a minute left. I'm up 4-0, and then another red screw spawns. Spoiler alert, it will be absolutely nothing but red screws. I get a little bit crazy with it. I'm Koba Berry here. I'm able to break the I'm able to break the Focus Sash with Ice Punch, and then I just lock in close combat because I'm like, well, if she tries to run away with Noivern, then I can go close in. I was accidentally still Koba Berry. I wanted to be Focus Sash instead, but luckily it still worked out here. I would have been pretty mad if I died because obviously full HP Pangoro, if it had the Focus Sash, would have always lived. So I was risking a crit there, but you know, it all works out in the end. And I think we get one more red screw, maybe. Yeah, well, none of us get it. Oh no, maybe I do get it, but yeah. So nothing but red screws the entire game. So then we swap to Tyrantrum, and we already know that this has the Focus Sash, so we wouldn't be able to kill it there. But then obviously I kept the close combat. Still takes it out. Tyrantrum just once again proving to be so strong. And especially when you've got that red screw. So you can see again my reaction. I feel pretty bad about just how dominant that was because the screws were just a little disgusting. So yeah. Then going into game 2, sub goal. Anybody want to subscribe to the channel? I realized that Siren was like always leading Glaceon in pretty much every match. So with this knowledge, I decided to leave Tyrantrum, which seems like a horrible matchup, but I dropped a lot of attack investment and put it into special defense so that Assault Vest Tyrantrum could always live Ice Beam plus Head Smash Recoil, and then Glaceon lives on 1 HP. So as I found out, this Glaceon was actually max defense, not max HP. I knew it was not max HP from reviewing Siren's VODs in the past. So I was like, well, I don't know what the spread could be. It could be like max special attack. Like max special attack modest seemed correct to me. But outside of that, I didn't know where the rest of the effort values were being put because they were not in HP, and this is an alpha Glaceon. So I was like, somebody went out of their way to reset the EVs on this thing. They could have put them anywhere. I was like, did they put them in speed? So as it turns out, they were all dumped into defense. So yeah, then that, I mean, literally lives on a pixel. So my little gambit doesn't work, and you can see, to my dismay, we can see the live reaction here of how disappointed I am. We lock it in, and yeah, and then it turns around. So now I'm all of a sudden playing from behind. Right, like I've said, I've not had to play behind a ton, but we've got 1 HP Glaceon, and I know that I can at least get a little bit of damage on this Tyranitar with Heat Wave on the likely swap, and then I go Cloud Surf for the first time, try and just get a quick little surf in, obviously expecting a swap here, and she actually doesn't, which is crazy. So then I can fire off a big old focus blast, and crit definitely did not matter there. That Tyranitar was dead multiple times over. So that is the one big Clawitzer play that we had this week. And now Machamp comes in, and I get a little frisky with it. Thankfully, we obviously resist Steel there, so I'm not super worried. But again, like, this is just a good matchup for Aromatisse. I kind of try and... I should have just switched out here, honestly. Siren does get the blue screw, which is nice. I'm like, I think I can still kill this. So that was plus boosted Moonblast, and it did pick up the KO despite the double defense and the Assault Vest. So Aromatisse just really proving its worth, honestly. And then Mega Mawile comes in. For whatever reason, I go Chandelure here, which was just really bad. Like, I knew that Skarmory basically always wins that matchup, and then I just mistime my Mega Evolution. So instead of being at 118 HP and completely negating all the damage, I mistime my Mega Evolution here and then just take a ton of damage as Siren gets the red screw. So now it's all of a sudden tied 2-2. Siren has Mega Mawile out with a red screw. I am not in great shape, and for whatever reason, I just panic switched to Pangoro. So I was like, well, I at least might as well try and bait out a move here. But Siren actually switches, and that allows me to just kill the Noivern with the Ice Punch Brick Break. And this should have been close combat. I definitely misplayed here, but I do get bailed out by the crit. I doubt that it mattered, but yeah, I mean, I don't think that it ended up mattering, but obviously close combat would have been safer. I don't have to worry about whipping. And then same thing here. I kind of forget which side she spawns on, so I just go ahead and grab that really quickly. And then immediately we go into Chandelure, who, as long as we wait out the Earthquake, can protect. But obviously it's just a quick switch to Tyranitar, which I was kind of expecting. And then we go Pangoro because we resist the crunch. And obviously there's going to be a switch incoming, but she actually goes for an attack. So I get up 4-2 with just 20 seconds left. So at that point, I think I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm like, I'll just wait for whatever comes out, and then we can get Aromatisse in to finish things off. Just throw up a Reflect. Yeah, there's really nothing that poor Machamp can do here. I tried to get a little cheeky one last kill in, but just enough to live on 1 HP. So yeah, that was the set. Unfortunately, I lost the live reaction, but yeah, pretty good week. So I felt good about how everybody played, and once again, I was impressed by Aromatisse's screen setting ability. Everything with the Pangoro worked out, despite me thinking that it might not. Unfortunately, my one silly little Tyrantrum play did not pan out for me. But yeah, red screws are broken, and ZA is a well-balanced game. Anyways, see you next week.